before I call Ghazal on. One is, please do turn off your cell phones and any other devices that you might have. And second, you all must have received slips that have a few questions on them. And it'd be great, we have the organizing committee around, we also have some volunteers who have blue name tags. Green. So if you can just over the next panel, before we break for the second panel, fill those out. If you have any particular suggestions, we will then collect them at the end of the first panel, and that will help us shape the discussion for the second panel. And with that, let me invite Ghazal. Thank you, everyone.
Great. So before I begin, I would really like to extend a warm welcome to all of you, and also to let you know that when we started out on this planning this conference, we weren't expecting about 200 plus registrations. So that was really overwhelming for us. And when the team sat down to build on the agenda and what will be of most value add to all the folks attending, we found that maybe it will be really exciting for all of you here to know what is it like working with the government, how have people made the transition, what are some of the exciting projects that they're working on, and what do they plan to do after this, right? And what were some of the challenges that they came across when they made this transition. And perhaps after you listen to the panel, you will be able to take that call whether you want to make that transition in your life. So for the panel, we have, so Lakshman will be introducing the panel, but I would take this opportunity to introduce Lakshman to you. Lakshman is a director with McKinsey. He's been there for about 17 years, and with an exceptional educational background. He's also a Palmer Scholar at Wharton University. And he's heading the marketing and sales practice there. But above all, I think he's one person who believes in the idea, who thinks that the time has come for us to make this happen, and has also demonstrated successfully that this can work, at least with an MP through Ankit and me. Panel members, please stand.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're like me, mourning the loss of Brazil last night, which was a terrible loss, and you know, we just quite haven't recovered from this, have we? Well, anyway, there is one thing that binds all of us, and this is the reason you're here giving up your Saturday afternoon, and that is that each one of us in this room is in search of meaning, some sort of meaning. When I heard about 200 applicants to come in for the session this afternoon, one of the first questions I asked Ankit and Ghazal was, why did we get a bigger room? But it's tremendous to see the sort of profiles of people who are in this room this afternoon, all of whom are in search of meaning. Half of you are from the private sector. There's about 15% from the public sector, 11% from the non-profit sector, and 21% named others. Not exactly sure what that group is, but anyway, but students, I'm sure, and the like. But 21% from others. 2/3 of you are male. 1/3 of you females. Thankfully, that adds up. But as I was saying, obviously this number will change over time, I'm sure, which would be tremendous for us. 84% are professionals, and 16% are students. So each one of you, by the way, has remarkable backgrounds. And having been through the list of people and what they do, it's a real honor to have you folks here this afternoon. And one of you is actually from an organization called Making a Difference Differently, which in some ways really encapsulates what's going to happen this afternoon. Several years ago, I was in the US. I lived in the US for many years before coming here. And I sat in a session at Stanford where I saw a bunch of these public policy types talking. And I recall having seen presentation on public health in India, when there were some startling statistics. 40% of people, of patients in Delhi, 40% of patients in Delhi, when they went in for an inspection to a doctor or to an appointment to a doctor, were examined. 60% were not. It was visual inspection, perhaps from a distance, prescribed medication. That number dropped off remarkably as you went into tier 2, tier 3 towns and into smaller parts of India. This, by the way, was a study done by the MIT Poverty Action Lab. So it's a remarkable number, and this is in urban India. So the situation in rural India, in really small towns, is actually quite bad. It's even worse. I sat in an office in San Francisco with 3 colleagues of mine at McKinsey who each inspired me. Luis Sabinius, who left us 2 years ago to become the president of the Ford Foundation. Deanna Farrell, who actually left to join the Obama administration as the deputy director of the National Economic Council working for Larry Summer. And Matt Rogers, who was one of my best friends, who actually left us all of a sudden to join the Department of Energy to basically dole out the stimulus funding, particularly for clean tech. And what amazed me was in the US we have this thing about an open door or a revolving door. People in the private sector who go to the social sector, to the public sector, and sometimes make their way back. And it's very clear to us, as we look at the rebalancing of the world, the lives that you folks are going to lead, right? And I'm much older than almost anybody here. And so, you know, young is kind of interesting, but anyway. But as I look at the lives that you are going to lead, it's very clear that leadership in the age that you're going to be in is going to combine the ability to lead in the private sector, to lead in the public sector, and to lead in the social sector. And so it's incredibly important for each one of you in the lives that you lead that you actually get the experience to play across all 3 sectors. Which is why I think this is a tremendous idea of a fellowship. And this is why I am here this Saturday afternoon. Because what I hope to do through this, and through the conversation we have on this panel, is to give you a sense of my passion and my own excitement for something like this. India is big. India is growing. India's time has come. And as you look at leadership within India, there is absolutely no question in my mind that while the people in government and while the people in the IAS, the good people in the IAS, you look to see what they can provide as leadership, it is important for all of us to contribute. And this revolving door is going to begin to start spinning and will accelerate. And we will, over the next 20 to 25 years, see people like you who actually will play in all 3 sectors. So it's my privilege to actually lead this panel. And we have some tremendous people who are sitting to my left, who are here spending their Saturday afternoon with all of you. People, by the way, who are also in here because they are in fact delivering meaning, having looked for it for several years. To my immediate left is Mukmeet Bhatia. Mukmeet is an IAS officer. He currently serves as an officer on special duty to the Minister of State for Finance, Mr. Namo Narayan Meena. Mukmeet joined the IAS in 1990. He's also worked in the World Bank in Washington, D.C. He's been part of the UK government's Department for International Development, the DFID, and he's been a governance advisor for the states of Orissa and Bihar. He graduated with distinction from Punjab Engineering College in Chandigarh, followed by an MBA from the Faculty of Management Studies at the University of Delhi. Mukmeet took a 2-year sabbatical to go to the Kennedy School, a tremendous school, to earn a Master in Public Administration in International Development, where he went on a World Bank scholarship